We are in Shmuel Aleph, the book of Samuel. Please subscribe to this channel, give it a thumbs up, hit the notification bell so you know when a new class is being given. Please give a comment, a like and a comment, and that way you'll always be on your first level if you're in your YouTube page, and you'll always know that we gave a class. Okay, we are in chapter 23, verse 7, and so if Abiatar's come down, he had the ephod. We were told that he had the ephod in his hand, that David had already used it to find out what to do. And now what happens? Verse 7. Vayugad Shaul. So it was told to Shaul. Now the question is, who told Shaul? We never really know that. It's just something that is a statement. It was told to Shaul. Kiva David Ka'ila. That David had come to Ka'ila. Shaul. So Shaul said, Nikar otelu kim biyadi. Hashem has closed him up or locked him into my hand, however you want to look at that word. In my hand, ki nizgar lavo be'ir delatayim v'riach, because he is closed up in the city with doors and bars. So Rashi explains, Nikar otelu kim biyadi, that his he closed him up. The Chen Avadi, also you have Avadi, where it says, Al Teira Biyom Achicha Biyom Nechro, do not fear in the day that your brother is imprisoned. Okay, and so on and so forth. And this guy, it says, they are closed up in a city with walls and bars. It says, Vayiftach B'cha, Rashi says, B'chach, and they are certain, they're relying upon that. V'lo yitosh, v'lo yichush levroch mimenu. So we don't have to, he doesn't suspect him be able to flee from him. So,
in regards to this God helping him,
yeah,
to
trap his enemy, yes. So the Malbim says, Nikar Tolafi in Yano who Lashem Masir. According to the straight language, this is a statement that Hashem has transferred him or given him over to his hand. Masro biyadi v'lo nimsa lo rea b'mikra. And there's we don't find anything like that, this language in the verses in the Torah. V'nirash mishtatev im nechar me'inin nachri. So it seems Malbim says this word nikar is on. We don't have anything to match it up to show a translation that it should be closed. He said maybe it comes from the word of nachri, which means stranger, or actually more she'ata yachol denhog imo ki'ilu haya ish nachri, to say that now he can conduct himself as if he was dealing with a stranger, an oyev Yisrael, who is an enemy of Israel. Sheba be'ir mivsa, and that he came into, that he has entered into a city, a fortified city, kemored, like one who is in rebellion, ukavo lahachin milchama, and like one who's come to prepare for war, sheyishga ba'arei mivsar, that because the walls of the fortified city are strong. So now I have an excuse to fight with him with like a stranger.
What's the ephod again?
Ephod is the breastplate.
Oh, and that's all. One piece. That's it. It doesn't come with a sword. It doesn't come with a spear.
No. The ephod is just that was the high priest would wear the ephod. The answer is the high priest does not have a sword. He's a man of God. So
and that's what this breastplate symbolized.
The ephod had it's a question, but what it was. But let's go with the explanation that it was the breastplate. So what happens?
Worn by whom? To signifying what?
It was worn by the high priest. He's a man of God. This is the way God communicates with him.
No military, no political.
Nope.
All right.
What it does is that you ask the Kohain the question, he concentrates, and the lights will light up. In other words, the letters of the breastplate would light up There is no battery pack here, by the way.
Like a Ouija board that you wear.
Right, there's no nothing like that. So, but it doesn't light up in order either. So the Kohen has a level of prophecy, a lower level of prophecy, and he knows how to put that jumbled together, and he can interpret it to what it means. You can't ask. You can only ask one question at a time, and for the most part, it's not going to. It'll be a one-word answer. It's not going to be a whole dissertation as to what you should do. So you couldn't ask, for instance, the battle plan. You can ask who should go first. That you could ask, but you can't ask for a complete battle plan. God gives you that to do yourself. But here, Shaul is saying, it's great, he's there. Now, the way the Malbim is explaining it, now I can treat him as a nachri, from the word nikar, and stranger, non-Jew. One of the non-Jewish nations. The nachri is a non-Jewish nation. Yeah. So I can treat him like that, and the non-Jewish nation, certainly in those days, and to an extent today even, would be enemies of Israel. All of our enemies, the Nachriim, are surrounding us in Israel, right? There's not one friend that we have in the entire area of Israel. Not one. We have people who have a détente with us, but they're not friendly to us. If you think about that, the Egyptians, Jordanians, there's not one who says, we love you and we will fight with you. You are our ally. Nobody's saying that. What they say is, okay, so we won't attack you today. That's what they say. As long as you give us A, B, and C. So that's what he's saying.
Where about are you in this, in 22 here?
23, I'm in chapter 23, now I'm verse 8.
Oh, you're over there.
You have it?
Yeah. Well,
Okay, so Veshama Shaul, I call it Am Mechama. So Shaul, as it were, caused everybody to come together. He announced that everybody, according to the Malbim, Sheyeshama is Hichrij, Sheit Asu. He announced that they should all join together for war. But he does not tell them who they're joining into war against. Vedato haya al Ka'ila, and his thoughts were on Ka'ila. And it was the excuse that he gathers all the nation, because they thought they were going to have that he was going to go against the Pelishtim. Because the town of Ke'ilah was in the power of the Pelishtim at that point. So Vayishama Shaul, they call it Am. So Shaul called the entire nation to war. The red Ke'ilah, to go down to Ke'ilah. El David v'El to oppress or to lay siege to David and to his men. So now, according to the Malbim, he didn't announce that last part, which is interesting because the verse doesn't seem to indicate that he held that back, but we can assume that he did. Okay, so then Vayeda David. Now Vayeda David, Ki Alav. So David was told or knew that Vayeda was again made known. Ki Alav, that was on him. That David was on him. I mean that was coming to him. V'Shaul Macharish Hara'ad. That Shaul had bad thoughts. Macharish, according to Masuda Sion, is a matter of machshava, of thinking about it. So he had bad intent. That's the word, bad intentions. I assume that's how they're translating this. Vayomer el Eviatar Kohain. So he said to Eviatar Kohain, Hagisha Ephod, go to the ephod. No, let's ask a question. So the Malbim says, V'yeda David, Haven Sheshaul Macharish, Uma'alim Hadavar B'chmado Olam. So David understood that Shaul did this. He had the thoughts were him. He was doing this secretly, and his really that the kavana of the killing him was only upon him, not upon the place of Ke'ilah. He wasn't really going to war against the Philistines. He wanted to really just go against David. So David says to Aviatar, ask the question to the ephod. Okay. Vayomer David. So David said, Hashem Elokei Israel, Hashem God of Israel, Shema Avdecha, surely listen to your servant. K'mevakesh Shaul lavo el Ke'ilah. Shaul has requested, or is trying to come to Ke'ilah, l'shachet ha'ir la'ir bavari, to slaughter the city on my behalf in order to get to me. That's what he's going for. Let's understand this is wag the dog type of mentality, right? Everybody has to expand the expression?
Well, but I'm reading here, it says that under the notes for verse 11, A, B, and C rules for asking questions.
No, I didn't get to that yet. Okay, but go ahead.
Well, that's what I thought you were...
No, go ahead. So what does it say?
There is no... Well, that you can only ask one question at a time.
All right.
If two questions are asked, only the first will be answered.
Correct.
Okay, so we're not there yet.
No.
Well, I'll be quiet then. Can you show me in here, where's the Hebrew word for ephod? I want to see what that word looks like.
Ephod is 9. So 9. Where's 9? Right here. It's ephod.
Oh, wow. Okay. More letters than I thought it was.
Okay. Yeah. So the Malbim says the shachet the ir ba'avari. He says yesh hevdel bein biglal ubein ba'avor. So the Malbim wants to tell you that this, even though biglal and ba'avor, two Hebrew words, mean the same thing for the sake of. Okay, but there's a difference when the Torah uses it here, when the Tanakh is using it. Here we're using ba'avor. So he says, Shemila biglal, when you see the word biglal, it's mitzoyan hasiba hakademet. That's illustrating the reason before it. In other words, the original reason. Umila ba'avor mitzion hasiba me'acharet. And when you have the word ba'avor, it's describing or illustrating the reason that comes after. So if he would have said that he came to destroy the city because of me, using the word biglal, haya perusho shebiglal masha kiblu David, then it would have been explained that for the sake of what that they accepted of David, wrote to the Shachtem that they wanted to kill them, derech onesh, by the way of punishment. Vim haya kain, and if that was the case, lo hayalo l'shaul im yizgiruhu, then it would not be a case to ask if they have been closed in, or was locked in. Ki az lo zot mevakesh miyadam, because then it would not be. This would not be a request. They would not request from their hands. Acher sheben yizgiru bein shelo yizgiru. Then they wouldn't be asking whether to be saved from the hands, whether they are enclosed by the city or not. Yikablu ha'onish ala avar, because they would have accepted the punishment on that which passed. Avalhu shamash l'shachei bavarot, but he heard that he wanted to slaughter on his behalf. Uhu kadei she'otziu oto, and that was so that they could get him out, they could bring him out. V'im yimsur oto, and if they would give him over, lo yishchatein, then they would not destroy them. V'zet, so in that case, sarach l'shaul im yizgiruhu kadei she'tistalek shaul me'aleim. So that's why he has to ask if they would send him out in order to remove the threat of Shaul from upon them. Notice the question he's looking at words, not that we know this. I'll give you an interesting thing about the Malbim here. What he's doing is he's assuming that you are an avid reader of the Chumash and the Torah in general, and that you've noticed that the word biglal and ba'avor are used seemingly interchangeable. So what he says is, no, they're not interchangeable, and I'm going to explain to you when each one is used.
Can you say what?
So he says, yeah. So he says, Biglal means that I'm going to. It's illustrating the reason would be beforehand. In other words, if his example was that I'm going into the city to destroy it as a matter of punishment. I'm punishing you, so that means there's no way out. There's absolutely no way out. Biglal, because of you, everybody's going to be punished because of you. As opposed to ba'avor, if they would just send you out to me, I would spare them. I only want you. There's no punishment for them. I only want you.
So they would not be seen as harboring him.
Right. So that's what he's asking. So when it comes to ba'avor, he says, I heard it was ba'avor, me, that they only want me. He only wants me. So if that's the case, I can spare the rest of the people if they give me over. That's really what the Malbim is setting up, and that's what we're going to hear. So now run verse 11, which comes to your question. Ayaz giruni ba'ale ki'ila biyado. So if the people, so here Rashi, by the way, says, Lamad mikam, we learn from here that because he's asking one question, shoel shnei devarim, that one who asks two things, ein mashivin lo el echad, he only is answered on one of them. Ein mashivin lo el rishon, he only is answered on the first one. David shalo sha'al shalo kaseder, and here David asked out of order. Sha'al lo l'shaul techila hayered Shaul, because you should have asked first, will Shaul come down? He's going to be ado. Am I going to be given over to his hand? Ve'eshiv kaseder, and then he would have been answered in the correct order. Okay. So again, he says, "Hayiz garuni." How does he translate? Will I be brought into the hands? Will the citizens of Kila deliver me? Okay, fine. So, Hayiz garuni ba'ale ki'ila biyado. Will the citizens of Ki'ila deliver me into his hands? Hayered Shaul, will Shaul come down? Kasher Shema Avdecha, when your servant has heard, Hashem Elokei Yisrael, Hagedna Lavdecha, Hashem, God of Israel, tell now to your servant, Vayomer Hashem Yered. And Hashem said, he will come down. Notice he didn't ask the first question, right? That's what Melvin set you up for. He asked two questions, and he only answered the question about the second question, because that should be the first question. Okay. So Melvin says, okay, Hine Sha'al Shloka Seder Pikavana. So he asked out of order for a reason. Kiyesh od safek, because there was another doubt, according to the Malbim. Shayuchal yot shetem she yelech Shaul ba'atzmo, that it could be that before Shaul came down by himself to them, yishlach shaliach, he could send a messenger, v'hevakesh, and he could request yotziu v'yizgiru oto, that they bring out and give him over to them. Sha'al tazot. So he asked this, kodemet she'elat hayered Shaul, before asking the question of, will Shaul come down? Zot hayta kavanato be'emet, that was truly his intent. Techila Sha'al, so that's why he asked, his giruni, will they give me over to him? Haynu imivakesh zot al yidei shaliach, that if he would request via a messenger, will they give him over to him? And then he asked, Hayir Shaul, Shitzuar. Then he asked, will Shaul come down? Should Shaul come down? Shitzuar she'im lo yirtzu l'shmoa el pekuta Shaul, which would describe or explain that if he did not want to listen to the command of Shaul, ayidei shalicho, if they did not want to listen to the command of Shaul via his messenger, then he would come down himself, the shachet la'ir, to destroy the city, and that's why, therefore, pa'am rishon lo sha'al ishgiroto otiviet manshai. That's why originally, and the first time, he didn't ask, will they give me and my men over? Ki im yishlach ayidei shaliach yasu, unless he would ask through the shaliach himself, that the messenger that they would bring him out. Lo yevakesh rak et David shehu rosh hamordim. He only asked about David, who was the head of the rebellion. Sha'az yiratza she'anshe Ke'ilah ve'anshe David she'yosiu et David v'yiftaru. Then the people of Ke'ilah and the men of David would send out David, and they would be exempted. Kamo shahaya v'sheva ben Bichri, like we see in the case of Sheva ben Bichri. Aval lo yuchal avakesh yosiu et David asham. But he could not request to ask that David and his people be brought out. Sha'az yichamu David v'yanashav im anshe Ke'ilah. Because then David and his men would have fought with the people of Ke'ilah. V'yomer Hashem, that's why Hashem says, Yered, he will come down. Ratzalimor, lo yishlach shaliach klal, that Shaul will not send a messenger at all. Rak tekef Yered bi'atzmo, he is going to come down immediately by himself. Uvezeh shapir shalo, in that case it would be good. Lo hutzrach lahashiv al she'ela harishona, he didn't need to ask on the first question, ki nichlala b'shaniya, because it was already answered by the second. So you understand? David asked 2 questions. We have a rule. You can only ask 1 question. And the only question, and if you ask 2 questions, so only the first question will be answered. If that's the case, God should have answered when he said, well, the people of Ke'ilah give me over to him. That's what God should have said, yes or no. Wow. But then David asked, will Shaul come down and not send a shaliach? And so he come down himself, to which God says, he's coming down. God broke his own rules. You understand? God's breaking rules here. I asked 2 questions. What's the question you told me you'll answer?
Where were these rules?
No. Wait. Let's take them for granted right now. Before we get into where's this at. I have a rule that you can only ask me 1 question at a time.
You would know that rule existed?
Yes, everybody knew it. It was a known rule. Okay, so everybody knows. Take my word for it. They all knew the rule. So he knows that you can only ask 1 question at a time. So if that's the point, I can only answer 1 question at a time. And if I ask 2, 3, or 20, God's only going to answer the first. That's all. So the question is, why did God change his rule to say the second one? Right, I'll go right to the second. So the Kohain to the Malbim, it's because the second one is encompassing of the first one. And David's intent was to say, is Shaul going to send a messenger with the statement of give me David or not? Or is he going to come down himself? If he comes down himself, it's going to be a worse situation, of course, because then he's just going to have a war. As opposed to if he sends a shaliach, a messenger, and the messenger says, just give me David, and everybody's cool. Because then they would give over to his hands.
And why did Saul summon all the people? How many does it take?
He's going to war.
That's not a war if all you're interested in is capturing that's
No, he's going to we said he summoned the people because they thought they were going to war against the Philistines, who are the inhabitants of Ke'ilah at this point. They're the ones who own the property, if you will. Okay? So the people can rally around getting rid of the Philistines. They're not going to necessarily rally against David because this is a personal fight between the king and his son-in-law. The people have nothing to do with that fight. But we can rally around getting rid of the enemy. So that's what David wants to know, is what's going to happen here? Are we going to have a bloody war? Or are they going to ask for me? What's happening? Well, I need to know how to proceed here. And so that's God, when God says, he will come down himself.
This is turning into a logistical nightmare because David has 600 people with him.
So what?
Waiting on every word that comes back from this conversation.
Yes.
How do you hide 600 people? How do you move 600 people?
They're not hiding. They're in a fortified city at this point.
I know.
They're not hiding at all.
They can't stay there.
No, the question is, are we going to be attacked or are they going to ask for one person? We have to know that. We have to know how to proceed. He's trying to avoid bloodshed.
He learned 2 pages earlier that he was responsible, because I just found it here, for I am responsible for every life of your father's house. This was the last city that got destroyed because of him.
Oh, but that city was,
That was 2 days.
no,
pages earlier.
no was destroyed.
Everywhere he goes, he puts
Nob
the
was
people at
destroyed.
risk.
Yes, but Nob was destroyed because he didn't take into account that Doeg was there. He saw Doeg and didn't deal with that. Here, there's no question. There's no question. We are in a no-win situation. So now I need to know how to proceed. There's no question. He's not worried about Ki'ilu, by the way, because again, that's the Philistine city. Let them do what they want to do. But now he has to worry about the people with him. If they would come against the people, or if the people of Ki'ilu were told, "Give me David and his men," then you're right. That's what Malbim is saying. There would be a war, because they're not going to all go.
How many men did Saul have? More than that.
More than that. Let's assume more. But what I'm saying is, you have to say that there would be a bloody war here. So again, David's trying to avoid it. He wants to know, where are we going to go with this? Where are we going to go? So okay, so now he's good. Good.
You characterize it as a Philistine city, but in 23, there's a number here, 23:3,
Right.
or 4 or 5 or 6 in there, he eliminates them.
What are you talking about? Right. But it was still a Philistine city. It doesn't matter. It's under the rules of Philistines. So you happen to wipe out that population, the Philistines are going to come to get revenge. He didn't wipe out every Philistine in the world. He wiped out the Philistines in that city. So now it doesn't take long for Philistines.
If it wasn't obvious by now that he wasn't safe, why is he asking questions? He knows he's not safe.
He wants to know how to proceed. He needs to know how to proceed. In other words, he doesn't want to have needless killing. He knows it's a problem, but again, you want to avoid, you don't want to kill the king. He doesn't, by the way, he never does. You don't want to kill the king. He has no problem with Saul. Saul has a problem with him. But he's trying to do everything to avoid his father-in-law. And sometimes you can't avoid, sometimes you want to avoid your father-in-law. But here, the father-in-law wants to kill him every time. So when he sees him, so he has to figure out, what do I do? And on top of that, the father-in-law is a Talmud Chacham. He's well respected by the people. They don't see him as a nut. Again, we are the readers. We're seeing Saul put under a microscope, and we see that he has problems. That's all. The rest of the people don't see that. The rest of he had, if it would be in today's rankings, he would probably have 90 to 95% approval rating. Okay, because everybody looks at approval ratings today. So he would have a 95% approval rating as a king, as a nice guy, as a Talmud Chacham. It's not somebody to topple.
It's what?
It's not somebody to topple easily. You don't want to topple the guy. People are following him. There's nobody saying he's a crazy guy. His son doesn't quite understand him. He sees his dad is a little upset about something, and he's ready to kill, but he doesn't understand it. Certainly the rest of the people are not saying he's insane. He's spinning. Again, you have spin doctors. The spin doctors are saying that David is an enemy of the state. If he says enemy of the state, we have to be attacked. He has to be killed.
Does Jonathan ever reappear, or is he sort of come and gone now?
Jonathan will reappear at the end when he dies too. Yeah, he's going to die in battle.
Come back for one large curtain call or something.
Yes, if you will. Yeah. Okay. So now, Vayomer David. So David said, "Hayiz."
What verse?
We're on verse 12.
Oh, we're still up there.
Vayomer David, and so David said, "Hayiz." What is your bugs here? Okay. Hayiz Giru beBale Ki'ilah. So will the people of Ki'ilah give me over? Am I my men biyad Shaul into the hands of Shaul? Vayomer Hashem yazgiru. They will. Hashem says, well, see here, again, Hashem answered the second question first. Now David re-asks the question about what's going to happen with my men. Are they going to be sold by the people of Keilah? And Hashem says, yep, they will. Okay. So now, the Malbim explains, Vayomer David Yizgiru Ata Sha'al She'ela Chadasha. Now he's asking a brand new question. Shalosh Sha'al Rishon Kalal, which he did not ask originally at all. And this is after he was informed that Shaul is going to come by himself there. Shaul, and now he asks, Im Yazgiru Ba'ale Ki'ila Oti, if the people of Ki'ila are going to give me over, Vihine B'tzad Zeh, and so behold, in this matter, Yada Ki Shaul Vada Yevakeshato, he would know immediately that Shaul is certainly requesting him. He had an Hashem and his men. Ki yirtzel sheba'al ki'ila yiftechu lo sha'ar ha'ir, and that he wants to know if the people of Baal Ki'ila will open the door of the gate of the city for him. And then Shaul will fight in the midst of the city with David and his men. And the answer came, they will open it up. And certainly, so one who wonders halo lo nikayim devar Hashem, that this word of Hashem was not fulfilled. Sha'amar sheyarad Shaul, that Shaul would come down v'yazgiru anshe ki'ila zot lo haya, that the men of the Keilah would give him over. This didn't happen. That you're wondering for no reason, he says. Because the word of Hashem was only saying, if David does not go from there, if David doesn't leave Keilah, Yarad Shaul will come down, Vehem his Giru, and the people of Keilah will give them over. Shegala lo dat Shaul, and that will reveal to him the what Shaul really wants. V'dat an Shekila, and the people of Keilah want. So, and that's why he was telling him, get out of here. David, Hashem was saying to David, according to Malbim, he's saying, okay, David, it's time to leave your area, because one, Shaul will come down. Two, the people of Keilah will give you up. There'll be a war. You will die.
The answer to both.
Well, you won't die, but
the answer to both could have been, what did you expect? That would have answered both questions at once, because they were both sort of silly questions. He's on the run from a nut.
Again, it's not a nut. You have to understand he's not a nut. You have to understand he's a rational human being
with three spears in his hand.
He's a rational human being who feels attacked, and he's going to attack back. And again, only because we're looking at him through I can't say enough. We're looking at this through a microscope, and so we're seeing what he does, and we're condemning him. He's really a tzaddik with what he's doing. He's not a wicked person. He's trying to protect his son and his family.
Has nothing to do with it. It said here in the notes to 7, it says he was, and this was because it was caused again by his melancholy over which he apparently had no control.
Correct.
That was the notes in
yes. So what's going on is, because he's lost the spirit of Hashem, because of his sin, it all goes back to that. Because he lost the spirit of Hashem, so now he has melancholy because he no longer has. He knows something is missing. He wants to recapture that feeling. And so the way to recapture that feeling is to do God's work, if you will. So God's not speaking to him to say what you should do and what you should not do. So he's not unlike David, okay? And so he's trying his best. That's why he's ultimately going to go to a witch even, to get to speak to Shmuel. I mean, he's going to go against everything he's ever done. But that's going to be Shaul's downfall too. But the point is that Shaul, if you would have met him on the street, you would have said, what a great guy this guy is. He is not insane. We see him because of how the Torah of how Tanakh is painting him. That's it. But otherwise, again, if you would meet him, You would think he's the best ruler in the world. You would think he's the nicest guy. He's so knowledgeable. He loves everybody. He's just a problem with his son-in-law. Again, he's not the first father-in-law to have a problem with the son-in-law. Won't be the last either. And so that's why we push it off. It's not insane. He has melancholy, but he covered up for the people. It was only when he was private that it was, or alone, that he would sometimes get into that sullen mood, I guess. But it wasn't in front of the whole town. Okay? Okay, so we'll have to stop here. Sorry.
All right, so
we are stopping at.
We're at the end of 13.
We're starting 13.
We're starting.
We're starting 13. God willing.